Hi, this is Kirk, the Bariatric Carnivore. This is part 2 in my series on how to succeed at bariatric surgery. Now, if you please watch part 1, which is about the prep work, getting ready for that first month or so of what you need to do ahead of time to start getting ready for this next phase of bariatric surgery, which is after the surgery. And there's some things you want to learn how to do. You want to learn how to drink slowly, eat slowly, because that first month you're healing. And it's a challenge. I mean, I don't know how I would have done it, except I work at home. So I had the advantage of being able to cook my own meals, etc. But let's talk about that first month after bariatric surgery. Now, here's some cool things that have happened to you. If you've done what you're supposed to have done, you will have lost already maybe about close to 15 pounds just before you have the surgery. And that's going to be because most people eat a high-carb diet before they have the surgery. But 2 weeks before, they have to go on a very low-carb diet, again, to shrink the liver, to get all the excess glucose out of the blood system so the liver will shrink. And the surgeon has a very clear shot from your side to cut 70% of your stomach and to permanently remove that. So if you've done that work, you've already lost some weight and you're probably feeling pretty darn good just from doing, clearing out that. But I want to emphasize so much that what you're doing, you are suffering through carb withdrawals, usually ahead of time, and by cleaning up your diet and leaving the standard American diet. Don't go through that again. Don't be fantasizing for the next month. I can't wait until I can have Oreos again or chips or something like that. That is the old you. You're now moving into a new phase of your life. You are investing heavily and you're permanently altering your body in order to lose weight and to get healthier. So embrace the investment you're making. If you're going to have bariatric surgery, don't be fantasizing about food. And it's easy to do because most of us who have had bariatric surgery are and will continue to be carb addicts. We will crave them. We will love them. We want junk food. We're programmed. We've been having them most of our adult life and we want more. Well, that's a thing of the past. You're now moving into a new phase of your life where you're embracing health. If you want to be successful, really work hard at overcoming the carb addictions. And there are videos that I can recommend but just Google carb addiction and how to overcome it, and you will find lots of resources on how to overcome that carb addiction. That's a hard thing to do, but it's worth doing. And this phase, the 6 weeks, 2 weeks before the surgery and the month afterwards, you are going to get rid of the physical cravings for carbs. It's not going to be easy. You may get jittery. It's almost as bad as giving up smoking. And when you quit eating processed junk food, and you have to, in order to have a successful surgery, just to be able to clean up the liver enough to be able to make sure they can do the surgery successfully, you will go through some physical withdrawals because your body has gotten used to eating unhealthy, ultra-processed food. So plan on going through some withdrawals. It's going to be kind of icky for a few days, but it's just for a few days. Drink lots of water, do some additional walking, which helps get you ready for the surgery. Do as much exercise as you can to make yourself as healthy as possible going into the surgery. Now, the way it worked for me and the way it does for most people is you're going to have 1 week of clear liquids. And if you've done your prep work that I talked about in step number 1, you're going to have some clear protein liquids. They're isopure proteins, and they will give you energy and give you some protein that will help you heal. Then the next week is broth, colored liquids. And a lot of people will use instant soup and store-bought soups and stuff like that, and I guess they're fine. They give you enough sodium, etc., to help keep you through this. But I really recommend that you learn to make your own homemade bone broth. That stuff I can't say it's fantastic, but it really gives you much more nutrients that you're going to get from anything at a store. You know what's in there. You know there's no preservatives in it. And what you're doing is, it's a very primeval way that our ancestors have been doing for years. They'd often take the meat. After they'd finished eating all the meat, they'd cut up the bones, put it into the pot, and just let them soak. And the bone marrow, which is rich in fat and lots of minerals, all come leaching out of it very slowly. And you just want to let that stuff cook very slowly over time. And it is a very flavorful drink. It's warm. It'll make you feel good, but it'll also give you a lot of the nutrients that you really need to help you heal, to help you along your body, and it will keep your energy level up. If you don't do this, if you're just drinking water, if you're just eating store-bought bone broth and soups and stuff like that, frankly, you're going to be weaker than most. I mean, I had my surgery on a Wednesday. By Saturday, I was at a OU football game. I had more than enough energy after a few days after surgery where I could go walk to a football game and enjoy it because I had the Isopure protein going into my system. My energy level stayed pretty darn high. I never got lethargic and I never felt bad. So utilize these techniques and you will feel stronger and you will heal faster. The next week was soft foods, particularly scrambled eggs. And again, like I talked about in the first video, get a food warmer. I'm trying to get this into the shot. A food warmer is basically a Mr. Coffee thing that you just keep, that you'd normally keep your coffee mug on. But if you put your plate on it, it will keep the eggs warm while you're eating them, because you have to eat very slowly. And if you've done what I suggested in the first video, which is I practiced one meal a day, usually lunch, where I would practice taking a small bite, chewing on it, setting it down very slowly, and then taking the next bite. And that was hard for me, but I had to practice that so I knew what I was going to do, so I wouldn't just go back to old habits. And when I started eating, just bolt down a big bite of food and swallow it without really chewing it. And that's hard on that stomach. You don't want to do that. Remember, when you cut out 70% of your stomach, what it's replaced with, how they're making it heal, is they put a line of staples across that. And those staples can't be stressed. So you don't want to stress that stomach. You got to honor the sleeve. And you've got to be very, very gentle with it. And the way you're very gentle with it is by eating very slowly. You also have to learn how to eat without drinking afterwards. Because frankly, after you've had bariatric surgery, you no longer have a stomach, you have a tube. So, you want food, the first step of digestion is the stomach. So you want to allow what little food that you can eat to stay in your stomach as long as possible. You don't want to flush it out with a bunch of fluid. So learn to eat slowly while before the surgery, so that you practice with at least one meal a day, so that you're ready to eat softly. And frankly, if you eat too quickly, it can cause a really horrible retching feel, and you just don't want that. It's painful. So learn to eat slowly. And then the fourth week, you're allowed to eat real food, but it has to be pureed. So it's almost like a baby food. That's why I suggest you get some type of blender or bullet blender. I loved roast. And what I would do is I'd use my Instapot, cook a roast, and I ate on it that whole week. And I would take the roast, which is already a very soft meat that I've already cooked down, so it's even softer, and then put it in the blender. And I got a very nourishing meal that was, again, healing, but it was soft in small little pieces, and did that for a week. Now, during your month of healing, you're not going to be able to lift any heavy weights. So don't plan on remodeling your house, because you need to honor the sleeve. when you lift something that's over 25 pounds, you put a lot of pressure on your stomach, and you don't want to put any pressure in that stomach area and the torso. You don't want to be holding your breath and straining to lift stuff, because that creates a tension in your gut, and that can put strain on those stitches. If you do this, after those 4 weeks, you're going to be ready to move to the next phase, where they're going to allow you to do exercise and stuff like that again, and you're going to work up to it slowly. So what I did was I used, I continued to walk throughout the whole surgery. Matter of fact, about 20 minutes after I got out of surgery, as soon as I was conscious, I was up walking the hallways, and I walked really the whole time I was in the hospital. And as soon as I got home, I walked some more and walked as much as I possibly could, because walking's healing and it helps keep the muscles stronger. So utilize what you got. So a lot of walking for the first month, then you can light weights, build up your strength, make sure that there's no pain. I was very conscious when I started getting back into the gym and started lifting weights and stuff like that, to make sure that I didn't feel any pain, didn't feel any strain. Took it light for a couple more weeks after the surgery, and after that started getting to my regular heavy lifting routine. About 6 weeks later, I felt confident enough that it was time to go back at it heavy again and start doing the straining. But if you want to be successful, honor the sleeve. Remember, it is not a magic wand. It is not going to change things automatically. You have to work with it. It is a tool. And if you utilize it well, you will experience some tremendous weight loss. And, it will help create a new chapter in your life. But what happens to too many bariatric patients, there are about a third that do not succeed, that do not hit their target weight loss within the first couple of years. And these are people that go back to their old way of eating. As soon as they are cleared for regular food again, they pull out the potato chips, they pull out the cookies, they start eating the way they used to. And that is, to me, is the most idiotic thing in the world. You have gone through a couple of weeks of processed food withdrawal. You've gone through carbohydrate withdrawal. Their surgeon has warned you, prioritize protein, which means meat. That really should be your priority in all your eating for the rest of your life. This is not a diet. This is a new lifestyle, and you've invested heavily into it. So honor the commitment that you've made. Get yourself to set up mentally to start living a new way of life. Next video, we're going to talk about some of the incredible changes that will be happening, and that will start about week 6 and onward, and some of the things that you've got to look forward to down the road, depending on how much weight you've got to lose. I mean, I lost, rather rapidly, over 60 pounds, and was feeling fantastic. But we'll talk about that next time. So this is Kirk, the Bariatric Carnivore. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, if you want to learn about how to live a carnivore lifestyle, if you want to learn how to live with bariatric surgery successfully and not be one of those people that regain their weight after 3 to 5 years, I hope you'll subscribe to this channel, like this video so that other people will know to go visit it. Become part of our tribe. Remember, in this journey for healthcare, you're alone in this. You're all by yourself. Nobody's going to do it for you. Your doctor isn't going to do it for you. Nobody's going to do it for you. Yes, you are alone in your journey for good health. Thankfully, we're all alone in this together, and there's other resources that we can bring to the table. So we hopefully will see you tomorrow, and we will talk about the next phase of bariatric surgery, which is the fun part.